Going live.
No, yeah.
Welcome to the Ben and Lauren Show. I'm Ben. This is Lauren.
Hi, Ben.
Hi. Here we are again. It's Saturday night. It's very late. We're kind of tired, but we're going to do the Ben and Lauren Show, and we brought props.
Oh, yeah. Ben says this is a prop-heavy episode, and Ava wants to make an appearance.
That's because she was sneaking in the hallway. She knows we're going to do the Ben and Lauren Show, so she wants to make a little appearance.
You can sit here if you want to and listen. Okay. Anyway, so how was our week?
It was good.
A lot of stuff happened this week.
Yes. I guess the thing that comes to my mind is I got to romp around the roofs for a while and coat some water cooling towers.
Cold weather.
It was very cold, but they had the warm air circulating around, so I could just go around with a light jacket on. I was fine. 30 degrees outside, no problem.
It had to be warm enough, though, or else the coating you were doing wouldn't have stuck.
Right. So that was one thing that I did this week.
They were taking rusty drain pans to not rusty.
You'll have
Very
to see
satisfying.
I did a steam it post on it.
Of course.
While I was on the roof.
It's Hanukkah this week.
Yep. Tonight is the last night.
Yep.
Or is it tomorrow night the last night?
Well, tomorrow's the 8th day.
Oh, speaking of props, I'm going to bring the candlesticks over.
We solved our dilemma of last week, what to do about the Hanukkah. And we decided that if we were going to light lights in honor of the lighting of the temple menorah, then we should light 7 lights, just as the people would have back then, just as God commanded. Hi. So we went out. we thought we were all set for Hanukkah. And so we went out at the very last minute and we got 7 candles. And every night we lighted 7 candles in the windowsill. We did not light one at a time. We lighted all 7 in commemoration of the 7 lights lit in the temple.
Right. We figure that's a lot more legitimate. I can't really show the whole thing, but basically we got one of these for the middle and then these for the other 6 lights.
We put 7 little votive lights.
Or votive lights.
6 votive lights and a pillar light. So we still had a taller one in the middle because it seems from what we've seen of designs of what the actual menorah would have been, the taller light was in the middle. So in the end, we did not recreate a temple candlestick.
Nope.
And we did not use the 9-branch candlestick either, but we did light 7 lights every night. And
I actually like that better. It makes a lot more light for the evening. It's not just one, it gets gradually brighter and brighter. I like it having the full light the whole time.
Yeah, if we're going to light lights in commemoration, if that candlestick was lit for 8 nights, it would have been all the lights. It wouldn't have just been one at a time.
It would have been 7 lights.
So we hope that we are not just jumping at shadows, but if we are, we have a whole other year now to really think it over.
Right.
And
I like the idea. I think it's good.
And we did make donuts.
She made the best donuts ever.
I've tried for 23 years to make cake donuts. Cake donuts are the kind you get at a cider mill. And turns out cake donuts are incredibly finicky to make properly.
Now, on the first night, you made your regular donuts, and they were edible. I mean, they were a little tough.
I didn't think they were edible.
We threw some of them away. But
they're bad. They don't work right. They're dry.
But you said, I'm going to make good donuts, and you managed to find the recipe to make good donuts.
I said, that's it. I'm not making another failed batch of donuts. I've had enough. And I looked, and I found a website by a guy who calls himself Joe Pastry. Joe Pastry has not been posting new articles for a while. He says his girls were getting too big and he needed to do something else, but he left his website up. And he owned a bakery or a donut shop. I'm not sure which.
He revealed all of the secrets on how to make good donuts.
He gave his secret recipe. Yeah. And boy, was it good. And yes, it really was cider mill cake donuts.
So you need to have a thermometer. You need to have, what else? Sifting. You have to sift the flour.
Well, it turns out what's very important is the temperature of the dough going into the oil. There was a guy who owned a Dunkin' Donuts who commented on the thread talking about all the ways he made sure that his donut batter was the correct temperature before putting it in the oil.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Mm-hmm. Had to weigh all the ingredients.
She got my scale. The one I used to measure my coins with. She got it out of my office. Next thing you know, I find it on the kitchen Counter.
And one of the big secrets that I wasn't aware of is that because of the way flour works, you have to mix it just properly, and then you have to let it sit for about 10 minutes so that the gluten in the dough relaxes before you try putting it in the oil. And the consistency of the dough is like a cross between pancake or muffin batter. There's no rolling it out and cutting it in circles.
So we had the last of our donuts tonight, right? So I think you should make some more. Hanukkah's not officially over yet.
Well, I'm trying not to eat them, though, is the problem.
So what else is, speaking of timing, today was supposed to be our Turner family Christmas.
Yes, actually, I was going to bring donuts to Turner Family Christmas. That was one of the motivations.
Mm-hmm. Now, we sort of, we're always invited every year by my family. It's more of a family gathering than really anything else. But unfortunately, this year it was canceled. My grandma was not feeling well, so it was...
and you know she's really not feeling well if she agreed to cancel family Christmas.
Right. We've done it, I think, 20-odd years, just never missing one year after year. But this year it was canceled. So I guess we look forward to seeing family at another time.
I guess we do, and I hope Grandma gets better quickly.
I hope so. Absolutely.
She's been trying to get better over the past couple of weeks, and it's just been going slowly for her.
Yep.
Mom did say maybe next week there might be some family get together with her, but we're waiting to see how she does. So we ended up not going for a gathering today, which we normally would have.
We stayed home most of the day. We went to our Bible study. We do every Sabbath typically. And we talked about our Torah portion, which was about Joseph this time around.
It was a really interesting Torah portion.
It was. And I thought it was interesting going through the Torah portion with the children because I was quizzing Abigail and she was doing very well. She actually pointed something out. She says, Joseph had 2 sons. I said, you're right. She said, Ephraim and Manasseh. Or did you say Ephraim?
I said Ephraim.
Ephraim.
That's how their Bible tape says
Their
it.
Bible tape calls it Ephraim. So Abigail corrects me when everyone says Ephraim. You gotta say Ephraim.
We have a version of the Living Bible, which I grew up with, playing in their bedroom every night. And they kind of have gotten a little addicted to it. It's funny because it feels like it's reliving how I was when I was little. We had ours on cassette tape. Mm-hmm. And they were numbered. And I used to start at the beginning and I put the tapes in one after another. And especially during the wintertime when it was cold, I would play with my blocks or I would color sitting next to the speaker for our stereo. And I would listen to those for considerable portions of the day because I found it enjoyable. It was like comfort food to some people.
Now, the Old Testament audio, it's a paraphrase, but the paraphrase is pretty good in the Old Testament. When you go to the New Testament, not so great.
My interest always fizzled by the time I got to Acts. I never listened to Paul's letters in that.
I mean, the Gospels are good, and maybe Acts is good, but some of the letters are not translated very well.
They're clunky.
Yeah,
a lot of bias.
A lot of biases into the translation. But the girls really enjoy listening to the Old Testament. What's your favorite book? I don't know if Abigail.
I don't really know if I have a favorite book.
There's Abigail.
Well, they like the story of Joseph.
Yeah, Abigail really enjoyed the story of Joseph. Okay, I'm going to quiz you. What does Ephraim mean?
Fruitful.
Yes. What does Manasseh mean?
That's a hard one.
She always forgets.
Oh, forget.
It means forgetful.
Forgetful.
Forget. So while Abigail's here, we might as well talk about her little her project she did today. She wrote her first sentence today.
Abigail has been learning how to read. Abigail and Susanna have been working on that. And Abigail really wants to be able to write. Mm-hmm. So today, while we were at Bible study, she came over to me and she showed me her sentence she was trying to write. And she had a piece of paper and she had drawn.
Let me chill this down a little bit.
And originally this said, I am Abigail, who, H-O-O. So she was sounding it all out and she wanted help writing it properly. So we talked about how to write it properly and she wrote this sentence and then she turned it over and she rewrote it on this side.
I don't know if it's going to be backwards when you see it, but
it shouldn't be. It says, I am Abigail who wrote this. So we'll have to work on grammar. And she still writes mostly capital letters instead of little letters.
But it's still pretty neat. You wrote your first sentence.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's a pretty red letter day on red paper.
I'm also impressed that you sounded out the words, even though they're not spelled correctly. You said I am. How do you say I am? A-M. A-E-M. A-M.
So we've been spending a lot of time during the week. I start saying, what does B say? And they all say, buh. What does D say? Duh. What does S say? S. So we've been going through all the letters, and it's odd because even Elena is picking it up. Her favorite letter is X.
X.
And then she picks up a P and she goes.
Yeah, it's interesting how fast they're learning.
So they've been watching a show called Alpha Blocks, and that's how they're learning a lot of their sounds.
I'm really impressed with that, actually. It's been very helpful.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, and you can get free programs, and they have a bunch of little skits with these little tiles that say their name.
I hear the girls
And,
pretending to be Alpha Blocks, and they go, oh, 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 oh.
Each
oh.
one of the Alpha Blocks has its own character, and it's a British show, and the humor is pretty understated. And they're very, very short little skits.
British.
And I haven't really detected anything
Nefarious.
nefarious or troublesome in their little skits.
Yeah, they hide it really well.
They're very, very short, and they're all meant to just
Yeah.
get the sound in the kids' heads, and it's working very well. So
Well,
there's our schoolwork portion for.
our little 3-year-old knows what the X sounds like,
She does. And P and B.
and B.
Yeah, she likes those ones.
So good job, Abby.
You ready to go back to bed now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good night. Sleep tight. See you later.
So now the kids are in bed. Now we can bring out the wine. That was fast.
It was broken up the line.
I wanted to talk about our drink of the evening. This is something we found at Aldi. How do you pronounce that?
I think it's Bergeron.
Bergeron Estates.
Yeah.
It's an iced wine, comes in a very small bottle. For the price point of kind of wines we buy, it was a little high, but it was not an expensive wine.
It's from Canada, and it's from Niagara-on-the-Lake, so it's right across the border of New York, where Niagara Falls is.
It's a really beautiful
I'm pretty
color.
sure we were near this orchard or this vineyard when we were driving home from Pennsylvania last
We
summer.
probably did. Niagara-on-the-Lake is beautiful. I'd like to go there sometime with my beautiful wife. And we can visit the wineries there and try some cheese and crackers. And
They have
sample.
several wineries in that area. I guess it's a good place for grape growing.
we actually looked on YouTube for Bergeron and kind of got to virtually meet the people who run the place.
It was an interesting story. It was about a man whose family had been in farming, and he said, I really wanted to go back to that lifestyle, but as so many homesteaders know, when you want to have the lifestyle of living more agriculturally, you really have to find something that will make you some money to support your family.
Yeah.
So he began researching, and he learned that the area that he grew up in had some naturally good conditions for wine, for growing grapes for wine. So he planted a vineyard 10 years ago, their first vineyard,
And they've been doing well. I mean, if we can find their wine at Aldi.
He said that every year they sell out. So they sell wines and they sell hard cider.
See, maybe we should look them up. We can make a point to visit there.
So we tried the ice wine, which I guess is made from taking frozen grapes and squeezing them. So a lot of the water doesn't squeeze out, but a lot of the really sugary
It
content
makes
does.
for a very, very strong, grapey flavored wine.
smells like mead, or it's like very like honey
It's
flavor.
delicious.
It's quite
It's
delicious.
wonderful. I actually poured quite a bit here. But you just sort of sip it. It's a dessert wine, and a little goes a long way.
Yeah, the alcohol content's a little bit higher than usual.
I think it's like 10%. It's not that high.
Just a little, yeah.
It's like regular wine.
And when you open the bottle, it's really weird because to me it smells like dill pickles when you open it.
Yeah, I opened it up.
last night, and I'm like,
I didn't smell that, but we opened it up, and that was the first thing she says. It smells like pickles. I'm like, oh, I don't really want pickle wine tonight.
So we tried it anyway, and it turns out that it was really, really good. It tastes like, I don't know, maybe vanilla and pear and nutmeg and
I'd say pear. There's a lot of pear
definitely
flavor.
pear. We're not really wine snobs. When we taste a wine, we say, it's really good. What are those
Swish it
flavors in
around,
there?
and then you put your nose in it, and give it a good sniff, and it's It's good.
So it was quite tasty. And Ben says if we see it again, we'll have to be sure to get it. Now it probably won't be there now that we wanted to get it.
Well, yeah, and we're about halfway through this, so.
So that was our thing that we are enjoying tonight.
Yep. And anything else?
Yes. Do you want to talk about the games we've been playing with the kids this week?
Oh, yeah. One more prop. We got props tonight. This was a very special little gift that we got for our family. Pretty nostalgic for me. I used to play a lot of Super Nintendo games. And this little box contains like 30 games. And you plug the 2 controllers in. It's like a little trap door here. You plug them in. And there we go.
They're all preloaded.
All preloaded in there. No cartridges or anything.
So,
And we've been enjoying it quite a bit. Now, we only play for a couple, maybe an hour in the evening.
the kids really don't have the coordination to play yet. So they basically say, Daddy, can you play Mario Kart for us?
Well, yeah. And it's extremely highly, highly regulated because we don't really play a lot. And some of the games are too involved. They're too long of a game to really even
There'd have to
start.
be so much time to invest in it.
So we're sticking to Mario Kart, Yoshi's Island, and F-Zero, and what else?
I don't.
And I
You
think-
played Donkey Kong.
and
a
Donkey
little bit.
Kong and Mario World. And those are all the games we're playing.
See,
Side scrollers.
I have no nostalgia for these games at all because the only ones I knew of would have been more the original Nintendo
Now,
games.
Daddy and Mommy play some Mario Kart battle mode sometimes. And I'm way better than her, but somehow she manages to get me somehow. I don't know how she does it.
I'm a far more aggressive driver
She
normally.
is an aggressive driver. I don't let her drive my car too often. I'm sorry, our car too often.
Well, ever since I tried to drive myself over with the car, I think you're especially nervous.
You almost made me spit the wine out.
Yeah,
We almost had a...
I'm such an aggressive driver. I almost drove myself
Oh.
over.
Yeah.
So those were all our props for the evening. We had Abigail's first sentence.
Yes.
and-
Actually, Abigail's first appearance in the Ben and Lauren show. It'll be the Ben and Lauren and Abigail show tonight.
She popped in for a cameo one time
Oh, yeah.
before, remember? Or was that Susanna over the back of the couch?
Both of them, I think, made an appearance. So that pretty much sums up our weekend, our
So-
week.
Oh, we got a new coffee table and new blinds. They were our Black Friday purchases.
Mhm.
And I tried all week to get my stuff done so I could work on hanging blinds. And the coffee table is a solid wood farmhouse style coffee table, which is normally really expensive. And the way we got it was there was a sale on it and it's
Wait.
unfinished.
You just wait.
So I have to do the finish on it.
We'll manage.
I know. But I didn't want to open up the box until we get all the stuff to finish it because I know what's going to happen. We're going to have some little girls with some markers or something. And something's going to
They're going to
happen
finish
to
it for us. They're going to have, like, peanut butter fingers and smear it all
Something's
over
going to
it.
happen to it
Or-
before I get finish on it.
Donut grease on their fingers. And
All it takes is Elena getting down from the table without her hands washed and going over and putting her hands on it. We could have an oil
It's all
spot
over.
on it. That'd be really hard to get out.
so we're not really setting it up until we're prepared to paint it and get it all finished and ready to go.
And I got a birthday present for you. I'm very excited about the birthday present for you.
So my birthday is next month, the 28th, and it's going to be a very long.
I've been researching this
time.
present for weeks,
yeah,
months.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what it is. I'm pretending I don't know what it is.
Okay. Anyway, so that was fun. We got a lot of packages in the mail this week.
So when we have the Ben and Lauren show near the end of January, we'll be able to reveal what the gift is.
Well, your birthday is the 28th. That's like the very end of January, and I don't know what date it's on. It might go into February before we do it.
Okay.
What
well,
Ben's gift is reveal.
I'll probably do a steam post on it.
Well, it's a gift that Ben has probably wanted the entire time we've been married.
Yeah.
But he knew it was going to be expensive, or he thought it would be, so he kept trying to find ways around getting this gift.
Well, I've thought that maybe it was a bit frivolous, but the more I look at it, the more practical it seems.
See, he obviously has figured out what it is.
Yeah.
But, it's really hard for me to buy birthday presents for Ben because, we share a bank account and we share an Amazon account. And guess who gets emailed if I make a purchase?
And she has to borrow the car. to go out and buy
And I would have
anything.
to borrow the car to go out to the store. So it's very difficult to have any secrets.
That's okay.
That's not so bad.
Not
but
a bad thing.
there's times I wish I could at least get the birthday present secret. But I had to kind of consult with you and inform you that I was going to get it so you wouldn't be shocked.
It's okay. I am quite pleased and quite happy, and just can't wait till January 28th now. I can wait until January 28th, and I will wait till January 28th.
It was a very nice week this week.
It was a nice week. And
everybody was healthy.
no illnesses, no
First
funerals,
time in weeks.
other than famous ones, famous former presidents.
Famous former presidents. I did not watch the funeral.
Neither of us did.
Guess I was a little busy and I don't know. I just didn't watch it.
So I think on that note, on that cheerful note, we'll call it an evening. Have a wonderful rest of the day, wherever you are, whatever time it is, and say goodnight, Lauren.
Good night, Lauren.
She makes me laugh every time. And Abigail says goodnight.
Good night, Ben.
Good night.
Would you like to end your stream?
Yes.
Okay.